Right now, if you walk into a Costco, a Walmart, or a Best Buy and look at the TV wall, something has shifted. TCL is everywhere, not just in the budget corner where you expect them. They are spreading into the premium shelf, the mid-range shelf, and every size category from 55 inches to 98 inches. And the prices are so low they make you feel like something must be wrong, or like you'd be a fool not to grab one. A 75-inch QLED for under $500. A mini LED set at prices Samsung charges for a basic panel. That sounds like a win for the buyer, but there's a reason TCL can sell a television that cheap and still make money. And it has almost nothing to do with the quality of the screen. This video is about what's really behind TCL's 2026 push into the American living room, and why budget-conscious buyers, the exact people these TVs are designed to attract, should understand the full picture before they hand over their credit card. Because TCL is no longer just a TV company, it's becoming something else entirely, and the price tag is only the beginning of what you're actually paying. Let's start with what most people see on the surface because it looks impressive. TCL shipped over 21 million televisions globally in just the first 3 quarters of 2025. That's a 5% jump over the year before. Their mini LED TV shipments alone surged more than 150% year over year. They now hold a top 2 position in global TV shipments and are the #1 mini LED brand in the world. In the US, they sit right behind Samsung in market share. These are not the numbers of a scrappy budget brand anymore. TCL is operating at a scale that rivals the biggest names in consumer electronics, and in 2026, they are pushing even harder. The new lineup includes the X11L flagship, which claims 10,000 nits of brightness and over 20,000 dimming zones. Below that, there's the QM8L, the QM7L, and the QM6L, all using a technology TCL calls SQD Mini LED, which stands for Super Quantum Dot. They've also introduced their first RGB Mini LED model, the RM9L and RM7L, competing directly with Samsung and LG in a technology race that didn't even exist 2 years ago. On paper, this looks like one of the most aggressive value plays in the entire TV industry. But here's where it starts to get more complicated, and where the buyer needs to slow down. TCL doesn't just sell televisions, it sells access to your living room, and that access has become the more valuable product. In April 2026, TCL's internet services arm, TCLF Falcon, announced a major advertising partnership giving global brands programmatic access to the home screens and streaming channels of TCL smart TVs across more than 160 countries. That means when you turn on a TCL television, the first thing you see on the home screen is now functioning as paid advertising real estate. TCL also runs its own free streaming platform called TCL TV Plus, with sports content from the NFL, CBS, Fox, NBC, and FIFA, all supported by ads that TCL monetizes. They've partnered with companies like Pubmatic and Magnite to scale ad delivery and sell targeted ad inventory on their TVs. This isn't some background feature, it's a core business strategy. TCL is transforming from a hardware manufacturer into a connected TV advertising platform, and every television they sell expands that platform's reach. Here is what this means for the person buying a $499 TV at Costco. That price is partly subsidized, not by manufacturing efficiency alone, but by the expectation that your viewing habit, your screen time, and your home screen itself will generate ad revenue for years after the purchase. Industry analysts have noted that value brands like TCL and Hisense now monetize post-sale through targeted connected TV ads rather than hardware markup. In plain terms, the TV is the entry fee. The real money comes later, and that leads directly to the next problem, one that landed TCL in court. In December 2025, the Texas Attorney General filed a lawsuit against TCL, along with Samsung, LG, Sony, and Hisense, alleging that these companies were secretly recording what consumers watch in their own home. The technology at the center of the case is called Automated Content Recognition, or ACR. According to the lawsuit, ACR software embedded in TCL smart TVs captures a screenshot of whatever is on your screen roughly every 500 milliseconds. That's 2 images per second, and transmits that data back to the company. It doesn't just track what TV show you're watching, it monitors anything that appears on the screen, including content from game consoles, Blu-ray players, streaming sticks, cable boxes, and even security camera feeds cached through Apple AirPlay or Google Cast. Everything connected via HDMI is potentially visible. The Texas AG's office specifically alleged that TCL did not adequately disclose the scope of this monitoring and that the data was sold for advertising purposes. The complaint also raised national security concerns, pointing out that TCL is a partially state-owned Chinese company and that under China's national security law, the government could compel access to data collected from American consumers. The lawsuit is still working through the courts. Now, TCL was not the only company sued. All 5 TV manufacturers faced similar allegations. But the distinction matters for TCL more than the others, because TCL's entire growth strategy depends on selling as many connected TVs as possible at the lowest price possible to the widest audience possible, and then monetizing the data and attention those screens generate. The cheaper the TV, the more people buy it. The more people buy it, the bigger the ad platform becomes. The bigger the ad platform, the more revenue flows back. That loop only works if the TVs stay connected and the data keeps flowing. So when a buyer sees a 75-inch TCL for under $500 and thinks they're getting a deal, they may be right about the screen. But they should also understand that they are entering a business model where their living room becomes a revenue source. That's the transaction. Whether it's a fair one depends on how much the buyer knows going in. And right now, most buyers don't know much about it at all. But the aggressive push doesn't stop at advertising. TCL made a move in January 2026 that could reshape the entire TV market for the next decade. On January 20th, Sony and TCL announced a memorandum of understanding to form a joint venture called Bravia Inc. Under this deal, TCL takes a 51% controlling stake, while Sony retains 49%. The joint venture will handle everything: product development, design, manufacturing, sales, logistics, and customer service for Sony's television and home audio business. The definitive agreements were signed at the end of March 2026, valuing the business at approximately 102.8 billion yen, with TCL paying around $475 million for its majority share. Operations are expected to begin in April 2027. Products will still carry the Sony and Bravia name. Read that again. Starting next year, the televisions and soundbars sold under the Sony brand will be manufactured, managed, and distributed by a company that TCL controls. Sony's legendary image processing, its cognitive processor XR, and its decades of display expertise will now operate inside a structure where TCL calls the shots on cost, supply chain, and operations. For the regular buyer shopping at Best Buy who sees a Sony Bravia on the shelf in 2027 or 2028, the logo will look the same. The brand name will feel the same, but the company behind it will be fundamentally different. Sony's TV division will no longer be a purely Japanese-engineered, Japanese-controlled operation. It will be a TCL-led joint venture, building products on TCL's panels, manufactured in TCL's factories, optimized for TCL's cost structure. This is where the story turns from TCL is selling a lot of cheap TVs into something much larger. TCL isn't just competing with Samsung and LG anymore. It is absorbing one of the most trusted names in television history. And it is doing this while simultaneously building one of the largest advertising platforms in the connected TV space, while facing active litigation over its data collection practices, and while operating under the jurisdiction of a government that can legally demand access to the data its products collect. The buyer walking into Costco this spring doesn't see any of that. They see a price tag that seems too good to pass up. They see model names that sound premium: Quadu M8L, X11L, SQD, Mini LED. They see brightness numbers and zone counts that rival or exceed what Samsung and LG are offering at higher prices. And on pure screen performance, many of these TVs genuinely deliver. Review outlets have praised the picture quality of TCL's Mini LED sets for 2 years running. The QM8K was widely considered one of the best values in the entire market in 2025. But performance and value are not the same as understanding what you're buying into. And TCL's 2026 push is designed to look like a straightforward value proposition when it is actually something much more layered. There's one more dimension to this that most buyers won't encounter until it's too late: tariffs. TCL is a Chinese manufacturer with a partially state-owned parent company. U.S. tariffs on Chinese-made electronics have fluctuated significantly over the past 2 years, with rates that have reached as high as 156% on certain Chinese-assembled TV categories. TCL has shifted some production to Vietnam and other countries to avoid the worst of these tariffs, but the situation remains unstable. If tariff exemptions expire or escalate, which analysts at Omdia and TrendForce have flagged as a real possibility. The rock-bottom prices buyers are seeing now could jump by 10 to 25% or more. And buyers who purchased based on the assumption that replacement parts, warranty service, or a future second TCL set would remain cheap may find themselves dealing with a very different price landscape in a year or two. TCL also carries a 1-year manufacturer warranty on most of its sets. That's standard for the industry, but it sits in contrast to the 5-year coverage some retailers like Costco offer through bundled protection plans. For a company growing this fast with this many new model lines launching simultaneously, warranty service and long-term support become real questions. Consumer complaint patterns on public review sites already point to recurring issues with panel uniformity, software freezes, and inconsistent customer service response time. Problems that tend to multiply when a brand scales faster than its support infrastructure can keep up. None of this means TCL makes a bad television. That's not the point. The point is that TCL's 2026 strategy is built on a set of assumptions most buyers never examine. The assumption that a cheap price means a simple transaction. The assumption that a bigger screen at a lower cost is always a better deal. The assumption that the company selling you the TV makes its money from the TV. What TCL is building in 2026 is not a TV brand in the traditional sense. It's a vertically integrated platform that manufactures the panels, assembles the sets, controls the operating system, sells the advertising, collects the data, and now, through the Sony partnership, will even produce the products that carry another company's trusted name. Every piece of that chain generates revenue. The television itself is just the front door. If you are shopping for a TV this year, TCL will probably offer you the best screen per dollar ratio on the market. That part is real, but the full cost of ownership, the ads on your home screen, the data leaving your living room, the warranty support when something goes wrong, the tariff exposure on a Chinese product in an unstable trade environment, and the slow absorption of brands you used to trust meant the cost is harder to see on the price tag. And TCL is counting on the fact that most buyers never look past it.